The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Our guest at the half hour is going to be Tim Bost out of Sarasota, Financial Cycles Weekly, which is an astro newsletter that's done extremely well, and we're going to have Tim as our guest. I did want to mention that, we've had this news out about the trade that you've seen, and we've had some big things happening with Facebook. We'll cover that in a minute. But as you can see here with the DAX, that was viewed positively with the trade agreement, potential trade agreement. We should refer to it as that, I suppose. But if we take a look at the FTSE, you can see the FTSE, the reaction there was absolutely totally different. So who knows? The big thing I think that people are certainly talking about is what's happened to Facebook. I'll just bring up the chart here so you can take a quick look at it, and then we'll look at it another way. You'll notice, folks, at the bottom down here was right at 165. From that level last night, we rallied all the way up to the 185 level. That was a 382 retracement of that whole move down, but that low that we made there was right at a 78% level in the Facebook. So that's extremely important support if in fact it is going to hold, and we don't know if it is going to do that or not. All we know is that that is important support. The fact is that it took so much money out of the market that it was, I think Tommy O'Brien mentioned that it was $100 billion, a 25% drop of a stock that high. So whether that's a major top or not, I don't know. We do know that we're over Mercury retrograde today, and tomorrow, of course, we have the lunar eclipse and the full moon. So along with apogee, where the moon is as far away from the Earth as it possibly gets, giving it extra gravitational pull. Dr. Al Larson feels to think because our bodies are 85% water, when we have this type of an environment, the accentuation of that full moon because of apogee causes even greater things. But whether these will be manifested by the market or not, we'll have to wait and see. Now the NASDAQ dropped well over 100 points from that level. Now, if we take a quick look at the NASDAQ on the 60-minute, we want to bring this up here so you folks can see it. You can see that we're in an area where we've had several ABCD patterns completing up here at this 75 level. Now, yesterday, that market was going straight up into the news, so somebody knew positively that there was going to be something big happening, and we did. And we had a big move in the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is actually still making higher highs from yesterday, as it should be. If it is in fact making a top here during this time of Mercury retrograde and the full moon. We're going to find out probably over the weekend. Of course, tomorrow we have the coveted GDP figures. Everybody is looking for 4.5 to 5.2. Oh my gosh, if there's a disappointment, be careful. It could be like what the disappointment that we had with Facebook. Now remember that when a stock is down 25%, there's going to be people wanting to buy it. And the fact that we stopped exactly at that 78% level last night at 164 in Facebook could give it a little bit of a rally back. But we've already rallied back 382 last night. We got up to that 185 level, and then we sold back off to 172. So whether that's going to be too much or not, will remain to be seen. Folks, we have a decision to make here. I just wanted to go over it with you because this is a good decision. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. If you'll recall here a couple of weeks ago, exactly when we were looking at the new moon down there, we were making a beautiful 3 drive to a bottom pattern in the November soybeans. You can see that 3 drive to a bottom pattern. And now we're approaching $9. If you bought that, which we were suggesting, you've made over $3,500. This is the time to take the profit. I know it's hard to do, but you're over a lunar eclipse and a full moon. And if you bought it on the new moon, why not sell it on the full moon? So this is what you're supposed to do. So I would be looking to take profits in those soybeans today if in fact you did that. Now, the same thing was true of the Christmas corn. We'll bring this up and take a look at it. This is really hard to do, folks, because you see the market's finally starting to rally. Oh, how high is it going to get? Well, you bought it on a 3 drive to a bottom pattern down there, right at a 1.618 expansion. You knew your risk there was at 4 cents. You've now made almost $1,000 in corn, and now's the time to be taking the profit. That'd be right around the 380 level. I think the last price I saw was around 379 and change. That's up 26 cents from the bottom that we were looking at down there. So that's a heck of a move in corn. Now it may go back to make 450 or something like that. I don't know, but you're just trading that particular pattern. So that's what you have to do if your trading pattern recognition is to really look at that. Now, I wanted to share something with you that I think you'll find interesting. I work with students all over the world, and I wanted to share with you. This is from someone across the pond, and this basically you'll be able to see it here. This is a trading system based on just ABCD patterns. Let's just get it up here. You'll see there's ABCD pattern. If you'll notice on the far right there, you'll see he had 39 losing trades and 33 winning trades. His average winner was 0.85. But look at the total on the far right, folks. He made $5,000 on those 72 trades over a month and a half period. Now that is really pretty good. Look at all the different things that he traded. He traded a whole lot of different things. So even though he was less than 50-50, he still, this was with a $2,500 small account, but he doubled his account even though he was not even 50-50. The good part about this is that if he's that good at less than 50-50, what's going to happen after he gets 4 or 5 months under his belt and he's doing maybe 60-40 or 61-39? That's going to make a big difference. So remember, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You got to control your risk. And if you do that, you can certainly, be better. I mean, that's what we're looking at right here. A perfect example is the copper. When we were talking about copper last week, when it was down at that 268 a pound, we're now at 283 a pound, folks. We've rallied 15 cents in copper. That's $3,500. That's a heck of a move in copper. And that's been just this week. Now, how much higher it's going to go, we don't know, but it's certainly got a possibility of making $2.90 a pound, which is where it broke down from when it went below the 1.618 expansion the first time. Whether this has anything to do with these trade agreements or not, I don't know. I know that the pop that we're having this morning has to do, especially in soybeans and corn, because the EU President Juncker said that they wanted to be buying more soybeans. The most amazing part about this is China has been relatively silent about this. So maybe this trade war thing is going to be a thing of the past really soon, and we'll get on to normal markets. I don't know, but you know what? Nobody else does either. Tim Boast will be our guest in about 15 minutes. 877-927-6648.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary Power Law Vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of the Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, I posted the chart of Facebook, and as you can see, when we got down to 165 last night after the report, we stopped exactly at the 78% level. That's really important because if we close below 165 in Facebook after making a 38% rally like we did last night up to 183 and change, I believe, that's going to be extremely negative. But right now it's holding. And remember, here you've got a stock that's very popular. They're offering it at a 20% discount this morning. And believe me, you're going to find people that are going to be buying it today. And in fact, if I were short, I would be covering here and then selling it if we went below the 165. But I'm not short, but I'm just giving you my 2 cents worth to see what's going on. I wanted to show you what happened yesterday, folks. I'm going to cover the Treasury bonds in just 1 second. But first, I wanted to show you the yesterday in the Dow Jones Transportations. The market was making a new low than the previous day at the exact time in the last hour when they were meeting in the Rose Garden there and said that we've come to some agreement here in the EU versus the USA. And you can see that we had a monster rally in the Dow Jones Transportations, well over 300 points. We went right back to the 78% level. So that really was a very, very telling sign that, you know, something positive was coming out of this meeting. Now, whether it's going to continue positive or not remains to be seen, but this thing has to continue on, you know, really strongly today in order to make it to go a little bit higher. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, now we've had several questions about the Treasury bonds, what I'm seeing in Treasury bonds. I'll just bring it up here to longer term. The bonds certainly look lower to me, folks, i.e. higher interest rates. As you can see here, we have a very distinct ABCD pattern here. If we can get a little rally of about 382 up to that 144 level, that's about one handle from where we're trading right about now. And if that happens, I think that would be a relatively good shorting opportunity. Longer term, we've looked at these bonds and notes, and gosh, they just look they look horrible on the charts, and nothing has changed my mind. I mean, folks, stop and think. We made a bottom in the bonds back on May 19th. And, you know, we made a high 2 weeks later, 10 days later on the 30th, and the market has been going sideways to down ever since. That's not bullish action. So that's what it seems like, that we're watching this thing, to the downside. We're going to be seeing if that's the case. Folks, when you're listening to the news out here, and believe me, there's enough of it, and that's why these media companies ought to send President Trump flowers every day, because no president has ever gotten the time that this guy gets. I mean, it doesn't make any difference what he does. He's in the news. So good or bad. And anyway, that's the stuff that's out there is why I'm a technician, because I can't differentiate between good news and bad news, because sometimes the good news is bad news and the bad news is good news. So at first, when these tariffs came out, that was really bad news. But what was the market telling you? The market was telling you that that's not negative news. The market kept going up and up and up. Those tariffs came in on the weekend of Memorial Day weekend. That's where I think June 6th was the actual trigger. And here we are on July 26th, 6 weeks later, and we're still going higher. So money is telling you, like they say in Bernstein and Woolward, all the president's men, follow the money, and that's what's been happening. Things have been going higher. Now, someone's asked a question about the live hogs. The live hogs still look okay, December hogs. If you bought those December hogs down at 46 that Rich Anderson was talking about, be sure that you, put your stop at break even and not risk very much. That's the main thing. That's the whole key, to looking at what you're looking at. So we'll see. Hold on a second, folks. I have to answer someone that is asking me a question. Hold on just a second. There we go. And then we'll be right back. Hold on just a second. Okay. Anyway, the news has certainly changed in the grains, in a matter of a heartbeat. Now, they've been rallying pretty good, correct? But the problem is, if you bought these on a pattern, if you bought them on a pattern, you should sell them on a pattern. That's what my whole premise is about. I mean, it's not you could start acting greedy here. Well, what if they go back to 1050? Folks, they're not going to go straight up to 1050. They've done enough damage there that what's going to happen is you're probably going to get some jumping around. And here you are. If you had a perfect scenario down at the solar eclipse, and now you've got the lunar eclipse with a perfect scenario, why not take advantage of that? And that's why we're suggesting to take the profits in the corn and the beans. And, the hogs, they're totally different. That's a different pattern with a different set of, cycles and stuff. But that's the one that looks really good. If you're in the copper, the same thing in copper. Keep your stop up so that you, at least protect $1,000 in copper, and look to, see if copper is going to get to the 290. It has a really good chance of making the 290 level. If you remember the pattern that we're looking at, in fact, we were talking about this on Monday when we were, really talking about this 3-drive pattern that we were looking at in copper. Let's get this up here so you folks can take a quick look at it. But we had a really nice 3-drive pattern down there at that 268 level. The low was 266.50, I believe. And you see where we're rallying here, we think it's got a chance to get to the 290 level. We've hit 284 already. We're only 6 cents away. That's nothing. If we made 14 cents the first week, I think we could easily make another 6 cents. That wouldn't even be hard. Maybe that's not even going to be the top. I don't know. But that's what the objective would be that $2.90 a pound level. That's what I would be looking at in the copper. That's where it really started to break down when we went below the 294 level. It's still a very bearish chart. We're having a very sharp snapback rally here. How far it's going to go, we don't know, but it started in the right direction. Someone's asked the question. Oh, we got a break coming up here. How confident I am about these astro dates. All I know is when you get an eclipse along with apogee and you get synergy all at the same time, with the full moon or the new moon, whichever eclipse it is, that's powerful stuff, folks. I mean, we've seen these over and over again, and then you throw on top of that, Mercury going retrograde today. That's That's a big thing. And traditional, we'll ask Tim Bost when he comes on at the break in 5 minutes what that means about Mercury going retrograde, because he's a consummate astrologer, much like Bill Meridian. In fact, they know each other. But anyway, we'll ask him about the Mercury retrograde and what it means astrologically, because I know you're not supposed to sign contracts during that time, but who knows? Anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. We've got a break coming up here to pay a few bills. When we get back, we're going to have Tim Bost from Financial Cycles Weekly out of Sarasota, Florida. He's going to talk to us about some eclipses and stuff, and I think we'll certainly enjoy that. And we'll ask him the question about the Mercury retrograde. So we'll be right back after these few words.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with Tim Bost out of Sarasota, Florida, Financial Cycles Weekly. Tim, how are you doing today? Uh-oh. Maybe we don't have Tim on the line. Hopefully he'll be back. We'll see if that's going to happen. Well, this is one of those times that don't really know what to do. Technical difficulties. Folks, would someone in the room tell me that you can hear me, because I'm not sure I'm still on the line. We're in the midst of a monsoon rain over here, so it's possible that I've lost connection, but we're still okay. Anyway, we'll try to get Tim on the line here shortly, and hopefully we'll get him connected here, and we'll be able to chat with him. Maybe he got busy for a second and had to, put a trade on or take a trade off. Who knows? But we'll not worry too much about it. What he was going to talk about today, and I really wanted to ask him the question about the Mercury retrograde, because I am not, I'm certainly not the type of astrologer that these folks are, like Bill Meridian, Arch Crawford, Alfie Lavoie, Tim Bost. I mean, basically, I look at the numbers of days between these eclipses and things like that, and the 14 days between new moons and full moons, and put it to the patterns and keep it as as simple as possible, is what I really try to look at. So that's really what I try to do. What Tim does, he's a real classical astrologer. He knows all the signs and what the signs mean and everything. He's been doing it for all of his adult life. So he could tell us why Mercury, is, and when it goes retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communications, and history says that you're not supposed to sign any major contracts or buy anything big like a house or a car when that 5 or 6 week period when Mercury is retrograde. That's what it's supposed to be based on ancient astrology, because communication is supposed to be false during that time. Of course, what we hear out of the news all the time, who knows what's true and what's not anymore, but we'll not worry about that. Someone's asked a question about the Facebook and the comment I made about the 165. Basically, folks, when I was talking about Facebook, I just wanted to give you a bird's eye view of what I'm seeing in Facebook, and then I'll relate that to just pull this up so you can see it again. And this is my interpretation, but we had a high of 218, and then the news came out, and I guess it was bearish because it dropped 25% all the way down. It hit the exact 7-8% retracement, right on the money, 165 and change. I think the low was 164 or 60 or something like that. Then it rallied to almost 183, which is the 382 retracement from the high we made yesterday. And now we're back down to the 170 and change level. Now, if we get below that 165, that's going to be, it's already bearish, but if it gets below 165 now, that's going to be extremely bearish. So, keep in mind that when something hits like this, there's been a change in economic thought. When you have a stock that it drops that much, and it's one of the FANG stocks, so this is really big. Now, whether it's going to affect Apple or whether it's going to affect Amazon or the others, I don't know. It's certainly not affecting the Dow Jones stocks, because they've made new highs from yesterday. So we haven't done that in the S&P, nor we have not done that in the NASDAQ, but we'll have to wait and see. All I really believe is the fact that where we are here with this, Mercury retrograde and the full moon with the solar eclipse is really big. And with apogee, the Earth being as far away from the moon as possible, that's another big thing. So this is a big cycle based on that, and the patterns are lining up. Let's just take a quick look here at the S&P pattern. I did this. I believe I did it. Let's just get it up here. Well, here's the NASDAQ. I'll put the NASDAQ one first, and then I'll try to get that S&P. I know I have it up here, but there's the NASDAQ pattern, and all I got to do now is to find that S&P pattern. And let's just get on here. Where can we find it? I think this might be it. Nope. And one more chance, and then I'll have to give it up. Let's just see here. Yeah, that's not it. And I'll give it one more chance. Here we go. Let's just get it up here. We'll take a look at it. Here's what I'm looking at. We had the big ABCD pattern from June 23rd. You can see that. There's your big ABCD. Goes right up to 2850. The high was 2850 and a half, I believe, and the market came down. What I'd be looking to do now is to sell that 61% retracement if we get that today, and then put a stop above that old high. That's the way I would like to look at that. Now, maybe it's only going to make a 382 retracement. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm looking at. I feel pretty strongly, about this being a cycle high yesterday or possibly today. We'll see whether that's going to be the case or not. I'm not absolutely sure. I have a question here about Bitcoin, and since it looks like we're going to have Tim on another time, let's get this up here. And you can see the Facebook Let's try it again, Larry. You can see Bitcoin is up to that 61% retracement of the high we made back in May. That comes in at 8,400. We're trading at 82 and change right now in the Bitcoin. So this is going to be a very, very interesting spot here, because this move is almost exactly like we had between April and May. And what are we doing now? We're getting one between June and July. So this is a similar type move. We see these over and over again. So this is an extremely critical level. Should Bitcoin get above 9,200, folks, it's going to start being in the news a lot more, because if it does that, it means that move that we made down to that 5,900 level is going to be extremely important. As you can see, we hit that back in 2015, and that's another one that looks real interesting. I think we might have Tim on the line now. Tim, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, perfectly. Thanks for coming in. Tim, we have a we have a question
up on me here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time, my friend. Okay. We have a question from one of our listeners, and I know you're a real consummate astrologer. Can you explain to them in astrological terms why the astrologers are so enamored by Mercury going retrograde and direct?
Well, basically, as you were commenting, I was able to hear you. You were talking about Mercury being the planet of communication, and that's exactly what rules the markets in terms of the communication of prices back and forth. You know, markets are an auction situation, and just as we just experienced, you have to have the feedback loop complete. The other side has to be able to hear what you're saying. And Mercury did go retrograde a few hours ago, so maybe we can blame it on that. But with the market dynamics, it is a shift in the communications pattern that is there. And the fact is that Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times each year, and each of those retrograde periods lasts for about 3 weeks. So it's not an uncommon factor. We have a lot of data that we can go back and back test with regard to market movements and so forth with that, which gives us a real advantage in empirically studying some of the effects of these planetary phenomena. But typically what will happen is, as Mercury begins and ends that retrograde cycle, essentially what it's doing is changing direction from our perspective here on Earth. It's basically an optical illusion. It doesn't actually back up in the sky. It just kind of looks that way. But that's a signal for the markets to change direction as well in many cases.
Oh, listen, we got to pay a few bills, and we'll be right back. Tim, could you stay with us, please?
Absolutely. I'll hang on.
Thank you very much. Tim Bost of Financial Cycles Weekly. We'll be right back, folks.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're talking with Tim Bost of Financial Cycles Weekly. Tim, you've posted a chart, or we posted a chart that you've given us about the sun being in Leo. You want to explain to the folks what you're looking at, and then follow it up with that moon conjunct, or the Mars conjunct also that's there. Could you explain it?
This chart with the sun Leo dynamic here is very, very interesting. Essentially, what we're looking at is historical references to lunar eclipses. And a lunar eclipse will always occur at a full moon. And we have a lunar eclipse occurring tomorrow. And what we've done is gone back and with some back testing with the S&P here, historically for all the times that a lunar eclipse has occurred while the sun is in the sign of Leo. Now, the moon will be in Aquarius, which is opposite the position in the zodiac, because it's that full moon lineup that creates that lunar eclipse effect. We're essentially looking at a particular angular alignment between the sun, the earth, and the moon to create eclipses. So what we've done here is back tested this and taken out all of the examples only when we had this Aquarius-Leo lineup with the sun moon at the time of lunar eclipse. And so what we're seeing with this chart, essentially that middle 0 there is the date of the eclipse itself, and the chart shows us the average response of the S&P 30 days before and then 30 days after the date of that lunar eclipse when we have this Leo Aquarius alignment as we have occurring tomorrow. And so what we can see here is a tendency for a short-term shot upwards, leveling off, and then ultimately within 30 days later we see a lower market in the S&P after that eclipse effect. So this is one of the ways that we have of kind of narrowing down our research and trying to find out more specifically what can happen at any given eclipse.
Mm-hmm. What about the moon conjunct Mars, Tim? What effect does that have?
That's a very interesting phenomenon, Larry, because this is surprisingly rare. When we have the moon conjunct Mars once a month, but for it to occur on the date of a lunar eclipse is a fairly rare event. And what's interesting this time is that we're getting that happening tomorrow, and there's a very, very close angular relationship between Mars and the moon at the time of this lunar eclipse. Now, the lunar eclipse won't be visible in the U.S. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go outside at night and watch it. It will occur shortly after the market closes tomorrow afternoon, New York time. So in other parts of the world, it will be visible. And this is going to be the longest lasting lunar eclipse of the 21st century. So it's an unusually strong phenomenon. And for those who can see it in the nighttime sky, they'll be able to see this reddish eclipsed moon with the red planet Mars in close proximity see to it just a little bit above it in the sky if you are able to look outside and see that. It's going to be available for viewing over the internet through NASA and other places. So if you're not able to go outside, at least get on your computer and watch it that way. It'd be an interesting phenomenon to see.
That's a good point.
This Mars alignment is very, very tight this time. And what we've done is gone back and found only 3 examples in the last 100 years when we had a Moon-Mars alignment like this at the time of a lunar eclipse.
And the first one was 1937. Is that the one you're referring to?
Right, exactly, 1937. Yeah. And it's interesting to look here not only at what has happened with the markets. In this case, we're using charts for the Dow because the S&P doesn't go back that far, so we wanted to get some kind of a reference point here. But as you can see, in 1937, we had a little bit of a short-term run-up after the eclipse, and then a big drop with the S&P following that. In fact, we were down 6 months later by almost 35%. And it's interesting here that on the exact date of that eclipse, of course, the world was kind of gearing up for World War II at that point. The Mars-Moon alignment at the time of eclipse is generally taken by traditional astrology to be a signal of war and aggression in one way or another. So it's definitely kind of war drums rumbling in the background at the time of 1937. In fact, on that exact day, Benito Mussolini ordered all Jews in Italy to pledge allegiance to the fascist state or be expelled from Italy. So we could see kind of the precursors of that time of tension lining up at that particular point. Now, this big drop was fairly unusual and certainly in keeping with that time. We were at the tail end of the Great Depression then as well. So these numbers on the Dow are kind of interesting to look at in terms of the trading range there, but it was a very, very dramatic response to that particular lunar eclipse. The next example was 1971. And in this case, we got the pullback after the eclipse again, after a short run-up, a fairly dramatic downward move, and then a net gain after that. And so 6 months after the date of the eclipse, the Dow was up by a little over 6% on that particular occasion. Now, while that was going on at the time of the eclipse, of course, this was August 6th of 71. On August 15th, just 9 days later, was when Richard Nixon announced that he was kind of scratching off the Bretton Woods Agreement and taking the U.S. off the gold standard. It was no longer redeemable in gold. And of course, for the dollar, and this is what actually set up the creation of the Forex markets a little bit later. So that was a very, very significant event on an economic scale as well, and also it coincided with a huge outbreak of violence in the Northern Ireland conflict at that time. So again, the warlike dynamics were going on at that time as well. Then our third example was 1984, and we had the lunar eclipse kicking in then on May 15th of 1984. And once again, it's interesting to see the parallel pattern between that and the 1971 occurrence. Again, a downturn shortly after the eclipse and a big surge upward. But in this case, the market turned into pretty much a lateral move, a very strongly congested trading pattern after that. We only got a net gain of a little shy of 5% with that particular eclipse 6 months later. And in 1984, on the exact date of the eclipse, again, it was interesting that the Federal Reserve announced it was going to provide the biggest bank bailout in history, at least so far in history at that date, which was $7.5 billion for the Continental Illinois Bank and Trust. And at the same time, then literally to the day was when Iran began attacking tankers in the Persian Gulf. They started bombing the Kuwaiti and Saudi tankers, oil tankers in the Gulf, and that continued for some time afterwards, an escalation of the Iran-Iraq war. The Iranians felt that the Kuwaitis and Saudis were giving too much support to Iraq, so they were trying to punish them by intensifying the war drums there, and actually some bombing going on in the Persian Gulf.
Tim, can you stay with us for just a few more minutes, and we'll talk about your new book about Bitcoin astrology? Tim Bost of Financial Cycles Weekly, folks. We'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're talking with Tim Bost, Sarasota, Florida, Financial Cycles Weekly. Quick question, Tim. This blood moon, does it mean anything?
Well, basically it means that the moon will appear reddish in the sky, and that's an atmospheric condition caused at the time of the, it can happen at different full moons, but in this case it's amplified because of the lunar eclipse. And so a blood moon has different connotations in different kinds of esoteric and conspiracy theory interpretations, but you know, we just look at it as you know, simply an observable phenomenon, and the fact astrologically that we have this conjunction with Mars, I think accentuates that bloody context. It has a potential for violence and for warfare associated with it. So we'll leave it at that.
That sounds good. Tell us about your Bitcoin book on astrology and how the folks can reach you.
Well, Bitcoin Astrology is a book that we got published, it's been out about 60 days now, and we had kept getting inquiries from subscribers and clients wanting more information on Bitcoin, and discovered that not a lot of work had been done in this area. So I was able to collaborate with some other well-known financial astrologers, including Bill Meridian, who's been a frequent guest on your show, Larry, and get a conglomeration of opinions about it. So what we've tried to do is provide a resource guide to looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin trading specifically through the astrological lens. We also have a great technical analyst, Gonzalo Moreira from Barcelona, Spain, who contributed some great technical charts looking at Elliott wave and point and figure charting with Bitcoin in the book as well. And we've got a reference section that includes over 50 different horoscope charts relative to the history of Bitcoin, as well as identifying specific planetary cycles that we believe correlate very nicely with trading opportunities there.
Hey, Tim, thanks for joining us, my friend. We'll have you on soon. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!